Welcome in to the I-80 Club After Dark. The thumbs are down. That said, we would love for you to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up for the... Oh, that was perfect. That's how
we just keep this going. Can we keep that going the whole game? Can we?
Oh, Lord.
For the podcasters, we just found another hand signal on Max that make it look like it's if you keep your thumbs down, it makes it look like it's raining and dreary in the background. And we should have done that. We should have done that.
That's how we feel.
I'd like to make that permanently. That's how our heart feels.
Oh, it's how our hearts feel. Welcome in, everybody. If you're joining us live on YouTube and you are not a subscriber of the I-80 Club on YouTube, we would love to have you become one for a few different reasons. First of all, it's just really cool. Second of all, if you join us and we get to 500, this is what you can expect on Friday. Jack Mitchell loves putting his heart out there for everyone to see. He would love to be depressed on camera on Friday night for a watch party of the Nebraska-Creighton game. So just subscribe, like and subscribe to the I-80 Club on YouTube, and you can join him and maybe me and maybe a cast of thousands on Friday night as Nebraska takes on Creighton.
And if you love this post game after a devastating loss, join us tomorrow at 2:15. We'll do another one.
Yep, indeed. The next After Nebraska Ball is tomorrow at about 2:15, 2:30 with Jack, with Caleb Henry, and with Jacob Bigelow right here on the I-80 Club.
Live from Sioux Falls. Live from the city of the Falls.
Indeed. We are watching. Jack has volleyball on. I have the Georgia-Tennessee game. I also have the Wisconsin-Oregon game on as Wisconsin drops a sure touchdown pass that would have given them the lead near the end of the first half.
I have those same two football games on, by the way.
Nice.
I have all three. I have it's 2024. I have multiple screens. So
there we go. Yeah. Shout out to you. So we'll be keeping an eye on those throughout the podcast tonight. And one final thing.
Wisconsin, what was that play that actually worked?
Mm-hmm.
Did a fake duck waddle. Did you see that? He did a duck waddle.
Yeah, Jack and I also paused I paused my screen so we would be in sync together, which is very, very idea. Nice. Very, very nice. Yep. And one final thing before we kick this thing off. So I was texting with Jack and I was texting with Caleb Henry, who helps us out, post everything over on Husker Max, and I said, hey, at least we've gained a couple new subscribers tonight. And Jack said, oh, that's cool. And then he emailed me. He's like, hey, I haven't gotten the email from Patreon. What's going on here? I meant we picked up YouTube subscribers. So if you want Jack to be happy, because he's really, really sad. I'm sad too. We would love you to become a patron. Patreon.com/I-80 Club. Hang out. You can chat with us. We have many comments to read. Many discussions are being had tonight on the I-80 Club Discord server. So go over there if you would like. It's just $5 a month or $8 if you want to hang out and chat with a bunch of great Husker fans. There's also some Creighton fans in there too for any of you J-Screws out there. All right.
There you go. Yep. Tell your Creighton friends they're gonna get their chance.
Shall we do this, Jack?
Have at me. They always want to have at me, and they'll get their chance on Friday night. Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, it's really gonna be almost every night over the course of the next week. I'm gonna feel searing pain, so I better get used to it. And I've had it every Saturday in November for 10 years. So
and I can't wait. Cowboys play Monday. That's not gonna be
that'll be terrible too. Everything's terrible. Everything's terrible. Everything's sad. Here we are again.
28-20. Nebraska falls to USC.
Josh,
where do we begin?
I here's where I want to begin. Okay, and this is I will self-direct this first because I came to you today with a bit of pep in my step this morning.
As you Josh, often are on the Saturday morning coffee show. You're always ready to go.
That pep was absolutely beaten out of me once again today. I thought I believe I said to you something to the effect of, hey, sometimes I just feel like a change, of any sort can just inspire the team in a little bit of a different way, whether it just, and then we went through all the teams that had fired a coach and things had sort of changed, and it went from really bad to a little better over the course of the season. We talked about the Saints, and we've got stories we can all tell about those. So I had that hope that might happen. We also had people who thought maybe the offense was going to look different and better because the pariah was gone, in their opinion, in terms of Satterfield.
Yeah.
What we got in this game, in my opinion, Josh, was the most quintessential loss of the Nebraska football groin kick era. We got the most quintessential close game groin kick loss possible. So instead of a different world, new possibilities,
a whole new world,
like whole
Aladdin.
Let me see if I can actually sell this to you, Josh. I did some prep here to let me tell you all
prep for an after dark show.
Let me tell you all of the elements that were there from Quintessential. Pick your favorite one, 2017 to current, 2016. I don't know when the years. We maybe need to pick an era exactly of the beginning and the end of this era where these basically the single possession, got a chance at the end, heartbreaking loss games. Okay. We thought things might be different. Instead, we got basically everything that comes in these games. The most obvious, an offensive chance at the end. The ball was running out in a 1-4 game.
Cue the Stumanji screenshot of
update the spreadsheet.
Yeah, and he already has. We got the graphic. We're good to go there. We can look it up. It's incredible. It's incredible stuff.
Update the spreadsheet. But on this one, you also had, and in a lot of games you also had a defensive chance, right? Mm-hmm. You also had a defensive chance to make a stop and force a punt and get the ball being down, only needing a field goal. And the defense looks, of course, as always happens, Josh, as bad as they've looked the entire game in that final drive. Mm-hmm. And it happened once again. It happened once again. But that's not all. That's not all. Josh, how about this? I know you've seen this before.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
A huge offensive play is about to unfold before our eyes. We're about to watch it. Perhaps it's a fourth down. Perhaps it's a 3rd and long. Perhaps it's the last play of the game with no time left on the clock. And what happens? A false start. We got that one. Check. Yeah. There's another one. You got that one. All right, next. How about this, Josh? Have you ever seen this in a game? How about an uncalled pass interference on the defense that everyone acts like is completely normal? Mm-hmm. We haven't been doing that, yet they would call it, and Nebraska would be in great position to score. I direct you to Wisconsin 2017. I direct you to Wisconsin 2021. I direct you to a few hours ago. Yeah. It was brutal. It was terrible. Brock Huer normalized it. That will make me mad for the rest of my life. Okay. Can I give you this one, Josh?
Here's a picture of it for anyone who wants to see it, by the way. Yeah. In case ICYMI. In case you missed it, that's what happened on the last play of the game there.
Don't worry. I'm not just going to complain about bad. How about this, Josh? What do you think about some weird ass use of timeouts? Can I tell that to you?
Classic. That's becoming now a classic of the Matt Rhule era.
How about some
the Mike Riley era? Honestly,
how about some super bizarre use of timeouts? It's really become something that makes me feel comfortable. It's like a
blanket.
It's like a warm blanket. As soon as they lined up to punt and called a timeout, I said, I need some cocoa. Weird ass timeout. You got that? Check. How about, Josh, speaking of that exact set of plays, how about strategy indecision in a key moment?
Oh, tell me more.
Strategy indecision in a key moment. Apparently, according to Matt Rhule, the plan was to fake the punt and then not to fake the punt. Timeout. Then the plan was to go for it on 4th down and then not to go out on 4th down. Oh, not timeout, but delay.
They didn't timeout. They took a penalty. Yeah, they took a penalty.
Yes, I think. That reminded me of the Maryland and Wisconsin games last year. When it was like, where it was like white knuckling. It was like, what should we do? Back and forth. Like, oh, God, oh, shit. What should we do? So there you go. We got that. There's more. How about an instant replay review at a just wildly key moment of the game, Josh, that doesn't go Nebraska's way? Now, I'm not saying it was a bad call on the replay. I think it was, although there was interference on that too. But how about that? Once again, replay call doesn't go Nebraska's way. Josh, how about this? Let's talk about the offense, right? This is the new offense. This is the new era. Whoop, whoop-de-doo, a new play caller. How about when the running game gets cooking, abandoning it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
I can't.
The running game got cooking.
I can't believe it. It's very on brand.
Can you freaking believe it? That was the thing. That was why half the people who wanted Satterfield fired wanted him fired. They did it. They did it this game. I'm losing my mind. Josh, how about this? How about missed blocks on the perimeter, dooming plays where there are horizontal passes?
Classic. Hey, how about the horizontal? We got one of them to Fedoni, which was just manna from heaven. For all of us who wanted the classic horizontal throw to the giraffe Thomas Fedoni. Thank you. Thank you, Dana Holgorsen, for that.
Josh, how about Heinrich Harburg coming in for random one-play segments throughout the game?
And he picked up yards.
And then first play of the series, and then not again.
Yeah.
How about that? Got that?
Hey, how about what D'Lo posts? How about not throwing to 4 here, where it is Mr. Banks in his best game in months, maybe, Jack, wide open, 2 yards from the end zone. And
a wide-ass open receiver that was missed. You can add that to the list. That's a fair one.
Yeah.
Wide-ass open receiver. Yeah. How about a random player on the other team having the game of his career, Josh?
Yeah.
We got it. Deuce Robinson.
Yeah.
Nobody knew his name before, but guess what? Deuce is loose. Deuce is loose. Deuce is loose. It works. It's USC. Sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona. Not on my scouting list. How about literal terrible bounces of the literal football? How about that? You know, usually they've come over the years in where the other team fumbles, right? And Nebraska looks like they're going to have a chance to recover it. And amazingly, it takes a weird angle bounce out of bounds. This time it was just, I don't know, off of helmets, off of hands, off of everything. Somehow USC ended up with the ball off of ridiculous bounces repeatedly. How's that for you? Have I missed anything? How about screen passes on third down, Josh?
Yeah.
How about screen passes on third down that don't work?
Yeah. I don't think you've missed anything so far.
The only thing that didn't happen was a complete special teams meltdown play.
Yeah, I mean, there was the fair catch at the 4.
Yeah.
There was catching the punt at the 4. I wouldn't recommend doing that normally. They did not miss a field goal, though, right? They made all their field goals. They attempted 2. They made both. They're now up to 5 made field goals in the last 3 games, which is, not something that any of us really would have expected during Rutgers and Purdue back-to-back about a month ago. I don't know if you mentioned the interception. Did you mention the interception that the first one, not the second one, but the first interception that Dylan Raiola threw? That one wasn't very good. That one wasn't very good at all.
Yeah, I did. I think maybe no, that wasn't good. It wasn't good. How about almost turnovers? That's another one. Almost sacks.
Hey, how about turnovers? The almost turnover on USC's last drive of the game? Their last drive of the game. The drive that scored the touchdown on third down, where it's bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, where they hit him as he throws. So it would have been a fumble, but instead of just it's like pinball. It just bounces back and forth. And then it's caught, and they get a first down, and they have momentum, and then they win the game.
So, my point being, Josh.
Yeah. Where is this?
All of that to say, after I and others were excited about kind of a new dawn, a change in feel, a change in attitude, just tweaking a little thing, making the mindset different, making everything feel different, you might have got the most Nebraska loss in this decade of the groin kick era.
Yeah.
This might have been the most ultimate one. I don't know that we'll be able to find one. When we look back at the groin kick era, when the historians look back at the groin kick era, I think they'll pick this game out, Josh, and they'll say,
"No way, no, this isn't the personification. This isn't the."
Because it's got all the elements outside of a special team's catastrophic play. Yeah, it's got all the elements. They played the hits, Josh. They played the freaking hits in this game.
It's like a jukebox. It's like a groin kick jukebox. Somebody make us a graphic of a jukebox, and it just has all of the dumb things that you can play.
What do you think the ultimate groin kick era game is then?
Oh, Iowa. I think Iowa 2021 is chef's kiss. That's the one where you go to the restaurant, to the fancy restaurant, and you're like, "Hey, could I speak to the chef?" And they bring the chef over. It's like, "I'd love something off menu. I'd love your finest way to lose a football game."
Man,
and he says,
"I don't know.
Okay, let me see what I can do for you. How about going up by multiple scores and Iowa coming back on like a 18-0 run and it taking them like 4 or 5 of their own scores because it's just a bunch of field goals and a blocked punt along the way."
Yeah.
Mickey says Michigan State 2021. People forget 3 and out every drive in the second half and then a punt return for a touchdown.
That's a good one. That's a good
overtime.
That's a good one, too. You know, I feel like maybe if you're picking the ultimate, it's got to end on the other team kicking a field goal. Some would say that's got to happen.
Yeah.
But again, there's so much about this one. It's hard to ignore it. Oh, my gosh. That false start on that. Oh, God. It's just, it's typecast. It's so on the nose. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The entire offensive line except the center. It's amazing. It's just. Boy, could they get? I mean, I don't know.
D'Lo says it has to end as an OT loss to be the coup de grace because he says the Northwestern and Frost first year. That one was
maybe
they were up by 10 and Northwestern went 99 yards.
Josh, if the refs did their job, that could have happened.
That's true.
If the refs did their job, that would have been there for the taking at this point. Now,
by the way, shout out Matt real fast, Jack. He says episode title Groin Kick Jukebox. Thank you. Look at that. 17 minutes in, and we already have the title.
It only took us 5 minutes this morning, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, now, Josh, the exciting thing is if this didn't hit the quintessential play the hits, all of the great album cuts of the year, the box set of the Nebraska groin kick era, we've got.
I want to make a graphic with all of these stupid games. It's like the opposite of Be Kind Husker Rewind.
I want to do one of those like Time Life commercials, like including your favorites: 2021 Wisconsin, 2021 Iowa, 2021 Michigan. I mean, all of the 2021 season, basically.
Here's the. And if you order within the next 5 minutes, we'll give you the entire 2021 season. Bonus DVDs. You'll get all of the games.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it has your favorites. Crap. The 2018 Northwestern loss, the 2019 Iowa loss. But if you order within the next 5 minutes and use a credit card, the 2021 box set is yours.
NU1 says, how far back are we going? I think it goes back. I mean, the last time they won a game like this was the Purdue game with Mike Riley in
you think so? The 2017 Purdue game is
they had a drive and they scored. That was the last time they won a game like this.
Yeah, that's true.
The close, you got to make it stop or you got to score at the end of the game.
I feel for the record, I feel like the groin kick era began when Nebraska beat Iowa in the 2014 game, and that is the beginning of it. Even though they pick up a few dubs along the way, like
you got the Oregon game,
they get the Michigan State game, but like I feel like it begins in earnest that day in 2014. The funny part, Jack, is they lose the next week to USC, or the next game in the Holiday Bowl. They lose in the Holiday Bowl to USC by 3 points, and so it begins. But then 2015 is chock full of stupid losses where it's like Andy Janovich rumbles into the end zone and everyone's like,
oh, God, that's a great one. That's right. That track list, that's either a first or a last on the track list of one of the box set CDs for sure.
Oh, yeah. The 2015 Wisconsin game 100% belongs.
Yes.
100%. Hell, the 2016 Wisconsin game, Jeff. Overtime. Fultzy. They call it. Everything. Wisconsin misses an extra point, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. And what happened at the end of that one, by the way? Missed pass interference, Paul. What do you know? Like freaking shit, Josh. We should make a checklist of all of the things, and then rate these games on how like groin kicky they are, or like emblematic of the groin kick era that they are, so we can finally settle this important debate between Nebraska fans. What was the groin kickiest game of them all?
Jack, I think we need to send out a survey. And we need that. We need the elements of like what makes for like the absolute worst groin kick, and people can rate things and give us a list and all these things, and then we can figure out mathematically. We need to this is an off-season exercise. We need to figure out
seriously
the
a
worst,
formula.
the groin. Yes, exactly. What are the elements that make a game
one possession game
loss?
For sure? Have a chance to score or make a stop at 100%. The end that will win the game.
Overtime can be involved.
Or send it into overtime.
A weird, goofy play that the game is remembered for,
play. A bad call with it, or a perceived bad call within the last few minutes is absolutely there. Yeah. I mean, man, a false start on 3rd or 4th down is getting up there. It's amazing. Why in the crap can they not remember the snap count on only the biggest plays of the year? That's unbelievable. The false start rate is so correlated to how big the play is. It's incredible. Big play, importance of play, false start rate.
I will say this, though, and I think Sam McEwen also tweeted it out. I was like, you know what, though? They got a little extra room now. This isn't so bad. They have a little extra room that they can, and I was just talking myself into it.
A little extra room, whatever.
Just talking myself into it.
Well, first of all, they got to see the formation. But whatever, it didn't matter. Banks was there. He should have had it, but they freaking interfered. They pulled his jersey off. What could he do?
Yeah.
And that's in addition to the one that they replayed on another one where they held him and they had to replay it. And obviously it was the right call on the field that he didn't get a catch on the replay one. But every time they watched the replay, they got to see the shitty call they made.
That was my favorite part. That was my favorite part when they reviewed.
You watch that. You keep watching it.
When they reviewed the Jamal Banks catch out of bounds, which they got the call right. I just love that they had to look at just a horribly missed pass interference call. Sadly, they didn't have to do that for the last touchdown or the last interception of the game.
Okay, Josh, actually on the YouTube, I don't normally do the YouTube chat. We usually just do our Discord friends, but
yeah.
Josh on the YouTube chat points out Northwestern 2019 was the last time they scored on the last second drive. That was the field goal, the Lane McCallum field goal, right? So
yeah. But then they lost in overtime, so who gives a shit?
No. They won that game, right? Yeah, they won it.
I thought you said Northwestern 2019.
Yeah, that's what he said. Whatever the year that they beat
lost that game though in overtime.
Whatever the one they won. Lane McCallum kicked the field goal.
We did that for Be Kind Husker Rewind, and we all, as we did it, were saying, "Why did we do this game? This is garbage. This is such a horrible, ugly football game."
That's true, I suppose. So it can't. It's not been nothing since 2017, but they haven't gotten a touchdown to win a game. So. Yeah. Man,
Mickey,
so
LOL. I feel like Jack is more likely to read the YouTube chat than Discord at this point. Sad, Jack. Sad.
No,
That's
I'm reading the Discord. I'm reading the Discord. Plenty. It's you guys are actually all adding good things. It's
been very funny. The Discord.
It's been funny. I just think we need to, if we at least need to just build our concept of the groin kick era and what it really is. How we I don't want posers to come in and be like, yeah, I was in the groin kick era. I knew what that was like. No.
Hey, how could we forget this one too, Jack, going back to Riley's first year? And don't forget about the 2015 Illinois game. And
that's a great one.
Why did you throw the football,
a great one.
Tommy? What
it's
are
a great
you
one.
doing
because Josh,
the football, Tommy?
The story tonight is not coaching or playing foibles. It's none of that. It's not bad.
Oh, you don't think so?
Bad calls or the rest. No, it is this fan base's freaking. What did they do to deserve this? That's the story.
The story.
That is the story.
The story is a higher power. The story is a higher power hates us.
There's going to be college football games all over the nation tonight where there were bad refereeing calls, bad coaching calls, stupid play calls, bad throws, not enough motivation, whatever it is. There's no place in America, no place where you got a fan base that has been through this much pain. And it's amplified by the fact that a whole bunch of us of a certain age went through all of the good stuff before it as well. There is no bigger story in the whole thing than this fan base and what the shit they've been through. And what do you do about it? I don't know. I have no idea. Eventually probably move on again and try again. But we'll see. Like Josh, it's hard not to think, well, here we're just going to start the same pattern over again at that point, right? It's really hard not to think that at this point because it feels like it's baked in, right?
Jordan points out, and you went through none of the good stuff. Yay me. Yeah, poor Jordan. Yeah, shout out to all the Gen Zers out there who have lived through the absolute hell that is Husker football since they were born.
Dude, D'Lo's like, it's almost to the point where the 90s no longer make up for the past decade. That's really interesting. Like, it's that bad. As good is right now as bad as the 90s were good.
That's a great question. That is a great question.
Dude,
are the 90s as good as these are bad? Yeah, and the answer is yes. They won national shit. They won 3 titles in 4 years. They went 60-3 and 5. Like, they were the best. They were the Alabama of their era. Jordan, sorry, don't let me in with those Gen Z losers. Dude, yeah, Gen Z taking L's.
It was so freaking funny when they were like, when Brock Heward and Benetti were talking about like, well, these are two fan bases, right? Like, these are two fan bases that know, they're probably both thinking it's going to go badly for them. And I was like, come on now, USC.
You don't have now. That's what I call groin kick. USC. 18.
You had the Heisman winner 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
bitches.
True.
I mean, come on. You aren't even. Stop. If I get one thing out of this, it is legitimacy as the fan base who has the most pain. Don't try and compare USC to what we've been through. Stop it. Stop it. Benetti. And of course, what do you know? What happened? And of course, he gets up at the press conference. What did I see at the chat there? He got up at the press conference. He's like, I guess we were due. Yeah, that's how it worked for people who are not.
Yeah, congrats on being due after 5 games. Right. Oh, man, that tough 5-game stretch for you. That tough 5-game stretch.
How long have you even been a fan? Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Matt, Stibbs, I hate that we have it worse than you shit between fans, but Jack is right.
Corny says, Matt says USC is showing up for their first groin kick AA meeting, and we have like 18-year coins. Yeah, okay, USC.
God, this is just so disheartening. It's so, yet again, we find ourselves in the exact same spot that we have been on this post-game show now for the last 4 weeks. And like the debate that was happening between our subscribers right before we got going, I don't know how much of it you've had a chance to read, Jack, but it was just, it's essentially about like, what happens if
I didn't go into the chat? I haven't seen anything in the chat.
It's basically what happens if they lose out? Is any move going to be made? And the answer to that, in the ultimate degree, no. The answer is no. There's not going to be a firing of Matt Rhule. But, it does set up for this like just horrible 2025 and just everything that goes into next year. I just, more than ever, people are not believing. People are, which like, no shit. We just ran through it. 20 losses of the worst way. So like, why would you believe? But now it's just like people aren't believing straight up about this program and where things are going. Jordan says 2025 will be 2022 all over again. Wow.
If they go 0-3, it might be. Yeah. Like I believe if they go 0-3, he has got a hole that I don't know how he's going to get out of.
To the point where you don't think he'd be fired after like 2 or 3 games. Like, you don't think it's going to be that bad.
I don't know. It depends what happens, right?
No way. Really? You think that's on the table now for next year?
They're probably going to start off at worst 2-1.
They have Cincinnati in week 1 next year.
Which is going to be in Kansas City now.
It's going to be in Kansas City, apparently. Yeah, that'll be awkward. Yeah, we don't know their schedule. I have heard there's been a little scuttlebutt that the schedule is coming out pretty soon, very soon for 2025. So
I don't know. Everybody's all. I mean, I was just gonna say. Well, we learned if you fire somebody early, you get a head start on things. On the other hand, you hired a coach that apparently may not have been that good when you did that. So who knows? Like, who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all the same outcome anyway, right? Let's not joke around here.
Stib says, Josh, outside of shutting down the program, I don't know how you can think anything is off the table at this point. That's fair. I guess I don't think Yogurt's going to fire him that soon next year.
No, I mean, Rhule picked Yogurt, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. Like that, I'll be honest, that hangs over every opinion that I have on a hot seat on what's going to happen with Matt Rhule next year. I don't know how much it hangs over everything with you, Jack, but I keep thinking that, like, he was like the blessed athletic director. Matt Rhule gave him his blessing, and so, like, that guy's not going to come in and fire him after 2 or 3 games next year. So that's why I don't think that's on the table.
But I literally can't go through this cycle.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like, I literally can't do it. And then another year, the new guy, and then the excitement, and then the mediocre first year. And I mean, it's like, at some point, I'm gonna be in my 60s. Like, at some point, I'm gonna be in my 60s. We're still gonna be doing this stupid cycle. I don't know how to break it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do to break it. Make a great hire, sure, obviously, but do it then. Do it. They haven't. I've heard they've done it. They haven't done it. So,
Paul says the fire Rhule conversation is crazy. He's not going anywhere unless we have an ugly losing season next year.
I don't want to. By the way, I'm not saying he's going to be fired, but if he loses out this year, it's going to get, Josh, you know this.
Toxic.
You know this better than anyone.
Horrible.
It's going to get it's already toxic. I listened to a little bit. I listened to as much as I can handle of
overreaction.
Of the call-in show, Big Red Overreaction, and there are already people calling for his job tonight,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not going to be good if they lose out. That would again mean 6 straight losses to end the season. It would mean 10 straight losses when Nebraska is 1 win away from a bowl berth. That's that is the wild one. It's like, what? 10 straight over the last 2 seasons?
So we've now hit 4 this year, right? So 4 both years, right?
Yeah.
And then we got 2 more possible. And then if you want to, you can throw Scott Frost's Iowa game onto that too with 5 wins, and you've got 11 actually.
Yeah, you'd have 11 consecutive wins. Jack, don't look now, but Wisconsin's up 10-6 on Oregon, and they just crossed the 50. Don't look now, but Wisconsin is up on the number 1 team in the country.
Win. Fine, win. Whatever.
D-Lo, the offseason will be miserable until we land some 4-star no one has ever heard of. See, and here's, like, I'm with you. Talking about him being fired right now is stupid because it's not going to happen. So, like, I'm not going to do that. But what I will entertain and what I will continue to discuss is the idea of faith being completely lost and what that can do to a program. And I saw it at the end of the Frost era. I saw it basically the entire Mike Riley era. We saw it, the divisiveness of Bo Pelini tear this fan base apart for years. Over a decade ago, when people gave up on Callahan, the things went downhill super, super fast. But to lose the trust in the fan base before another full offseason, when they need to make big changes on offense, like it's not just going to be a new coordinator next year. They need to have new position coaches. Jack, they're next year at the very least. New offensive coordinator. New special teams coordinator. There's a world where they have a new defensive coordinator. There's a world, Jack, where the coordinators are all brand new for at least a full season, with Holgorsen back. 3 new coordinators. That's not a recipe for success, And then you throw in some position coaches. Then you throw in the transfer portal. I know everyone always brings up Dylan Raiola first and foremost, and that's fine, though he's really struggling right now. But look elsewhere on the roster. Ja'Cory Barney, his services will absolutely be wanted outside of the walls of Nebraska. People are going to be in that guy's ear to leave. And they should, right? Like, if no one's going to report you for tampering, people are going to show up and say, why would you want to be in that offense? It sucks. I don't think that Nebraska has to worry about losing any, like, good running backs or anything. But, It's like, there you go there. All right, can they bring in other receivers? Can they bring in a good running back? What the hell's going on with the offensive line? The defense, again, they are so good and so bad in the same game always. But on top of that, it's a very veteran group. And so, like, cool. Like, you get some young players that maybe don't make the same mistakes as these guys, but they're going to make their own new mistakes next year. And it's like, that's why, when people say, like, I just want to rip the Band-Aid off now, I understand it, even if I disagree, but that's partly just because it's like you gotta play it out just a little bit longer. But a large part is I just don't think it'll happen. So, yeah. But that's why it's going to be depressing. That's why this offseason is going to suck. It has now reached a point, Jack, no matter what, even if they went 2-0, I don't think this offseason is going to be healthy. They're not going to go 2-0, though, so I don't have to worry about that. It's going to be a bad offseason. It's going to be horrible around here.
Yeah. JP says, if you think he can't turn it around, then wanting him fired is logical and shouldn't be toxic. That's not what I'm saying, and you're saying, I don't think. Like, we're just saying it's not going to be an environment, right, where getting in the right, it's not going to be an environment where success is possible at that point. And maybe it wasn't going to be anyway, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's going to be toxic. We've seen it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, we know this better than anyone. We know this routine better than anyone at this point. So,
yeah.
Let's talk.
Rhule, not the second-year turnaround that we wanted. One more thing on that, Jack, before you move on. But, for the record, like, to be fair, Rhule's second years were always, like, 500-ish teams. Like,
yeah.
They can get one more win.
Did he hurt himself by starting at a place where they weren't terrible the first year?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was ahead of schedule last year in terms of compared to his normal year ones. He is not ahead of schedule compared to his normal year twos, but he could be on schedule. All it takes is one win, and suddenly it's like, oh, hey, the exact same thing at Temple and Baylor. Now, do people think that they're going to win 11 games next year? Probably not. But, at the very least, he'd be on schedule. What were you going to say?
No, I want to talk more about the game. Move on from sort of the big picture of the game.
Yeah.
Man, look. I saw there were a couple of times where I was like, and especially the drive that they went down and got the touchdown. I said, okay, that feels different, right? That felt different. Dillon getting rid of the ball more quickly. The passing game was better when they scored that touchdown, but it was not the majority of the game where I felt like the offense felt like it had a real different situation, better chance of succeeding because of the play calling. I just didn't. Like, I didn't. And one of the big reasons, Josh, for that is because it's the elephant in the room. Raiola looks really bad right now.
He's struggling.
He's struggling, man. To the point that, like, my group text with some of my friends were like, you got to think about taking him out.
Yeah. Riss and I were having the same conversation throughout much of the fourth quarter as we're watching the game. Just like, is this, what should they do? Should they take him out? Should they put Harburg in? Brandon says he doesn't look on schedule. Maybe he's talking about Rhule. Sorry, that.
He's talking about Rhule.
I mean, it kind of fits though. It kind of fits though with Dillon. NU1 says seeing ghosts and hearing footsteps. The play that D'Lo posted earlier, man. That one of Banks being wide open and they have to kick a field goal. I mean, that one is brutal. The first interception of the game. Like, Nebraska had some real momentum at that time on that drive in the game overall. That interception wasn't very good. And like, I know that you got ratioed hard when you mentioned the spot on the slide.
I did. I didn't even look at my response. That's awesome. I didn't even. That's great. It's weird to see that.
Just tweeting
because I didn't even know I got ratioed. It was a bad spot. I stand by that.
It wasn't. The issue is you got to die for the first down. When you slide, they're going to mark it where you begin the slide.
By the way, Klatt and Benetti agreed with me.
No, so I don't. No, they didn't. They said you got to die for the first down there. He didn't die for the first down.
The slot. No, I thought whatever. It was a bad spot.
Stand
by it. I was right as per usual. Anyway, go on.
whether or not the spot was right or not, you got to dive for the first down. And that was a play where it's like the yards are there.
By the way, I wasn't saying he made a great choice by sliding. I was saying it was a shitty spot. Those are two wildly different conversations.
I didn't bring this up to argue with you. I brought it up to say more. That was another one of his poor decisions that he made in the game. Like, dive for the first down, bro.
Fine. I agree with that.
It is the elephant in the room. It is the elephant in the room, man. It's horrible right now. And I don't even know. Information says I feel like he miscalculated where he was. He probably did.
He looked like he didn't want to get hurt to me.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a hurting dude.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, that's the best explanation I have.
JP says, why was he good for a few games? That part I don't understand. I don't buy the injury thing. It looks mental. It's both. He is hurt. He is definitely injured. He is also, I think, very much swimming in it mentally. Very much swimming.
Both.
I feel like that is inarguable, but it is both. I don't think that he's
mental and physical. Look at him walk. He's walking like me out there.
He's walking like an old
an overweight 47-year-old. Seriously,
he is.
He is
not directly like you, but he's struggling at walking.
No, he does. He looks uncomfortable after plays and those sorts of things. He just looks not great physically, but the mental thing is there too, obviously. So
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do about that?
Wait for the season to end.
I mean, like, when will there ever be a discussion about trying something else? Or at least, for the love of God, if you're gonna put Harburg in, quit doing it for one play at a time.
Yeah,
just a little while, and you can see if you feel like you might like that.
Yeah,
you might. You can try, but maybe that's just a non-negotiable at this point with keeping him here, right? You got to keep him in. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but we're not that far from it. We are not that far, Josh.
Oh, I feel like,
like I said, I have some friends who are already there.
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely, there's a large part of the fan base that I think wants him to not be out there on the field or to at least give Harburg.
He's not an asset right now. I mean, like, I don't know how you could look at him and
it's
say
funny
he's
too,
because
he did make some solid throws again today where it's like, oh man, he does have it in him, but he's just nowhere near as consistent as you need him to be. Nowhere near as consistent.
All that said, like, it was so weird that last drive. He finally got to throw it deep repeatedly. And it was like,
yeah,
I haven't seen him do this or use his arm that he's got most of this year. What do we got this guy for?
Yeah.
If the only time you're going to see him throwing the ball and getting his arm into it the entire season is in a 1-minute drill against USC at the very end of a game. Because it was like, man, it's weird to see him do that. I haven't seen that this year.
Mickey says, saw this on Twitter. Dylan Raiola can make throws Heinrich Haarberg can't, but Heinrich Haarberg can probably make the throws Dylan Raiola is checking down to right now.
Man.
Yeah, and Stu Manji, I keep coming back to 5 yards per attempt. Dude, that is the part. Every time, Fox, the best part about watching games on Fox is they always have the quarterback stats there. And the whole game, Jack, I'm watching the numbers, and I'm watching the attempts climb, and the yards not really climb as much as you would like. And it's like, wow, that yards per, 5 yards an attempt is like a solid college running back, but it's not even special in college, And that's your passing? That's horrible. You can't move the ball. It's impossible to move the ball. It makes the drive so difficult.
I feel like he has had, between actually throwing interceptions and pounded into his head interception avoidance, that he is, the amount he just checks down to totally passive conservative receivers on plays and won't take a chance. I think that's impeding him more than anything right now.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder how much of it you had that theory this morning on Saturday.
It looked like that again to me today. It looks like he's got that in his head.
Which is funny because he ended up with 2 picks. So it's like if it's turnover avoidance, he's still throwing them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's true. That's true. And at least one of them was pretty bad, but he also had some of them there's just check down. I mean, the amount of checkdowns, Josh, and throwaway balls or run for 2 yards balls or pass plays are unbelievable. What's the problem? Okay. What's the problem that you have so many passing plays that don't go close to according to plan. You have got play after play after play. Like I said, one of those three things, right? A super conservative check down that goes for nothing.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball away, or sort of half-ass running.
Yeah.
Because he can't find anybody open. He feels like he can't. The amount of times he feels like he can't find a receiver, and I still don't know if it's him or the receivers. I don't know. Like,
it's obvious. It's obvious that him and Nair are not on the same page. There was the play early in the game. They were moving on television. They were moving right to left. So I can't remember if that was the first quarter or the second quarter. I think it was the first quarter. And he threw, it was like towards the bottom part of the screen, and Nair didn't turn around as fast. And he did like this. Like, it was like, no, put the ball here. And so it's obvious that they are not on the same page. I thought him and Banks seemed to click better today than they have in a month
Mainly
or so.
On one drive, but yeah.
Yeah. D'Lo brings up Jalen Lloyd. Lloyd needs more opportunities. How about the fact that Lloyd isn't targeted at all and then suddenly is targeted twice on the final drive of the game? That was interesting, and he had a catch.
It's so wild.
Yeah. And you know what's funny, too, is, Jack, this morning we spent time talking about, like, hey, maybe the substitution patterns are going to be different. And they still seemed weird as hell all over again. I would say this. This is less Dylan and more just the team. Go look at the yards per carry for the backs, man. It was pretty solid.
It looked like those guys were getting shot out of a rocket.
It looked different today, didn't they? I thought the same thing.
I have got crabby at people when they're like, we got to run the ball more. It hasn't worked. It hasn't looked good. It looked bordering on great today a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like, today is the first time where I am like, yeah, they definitely should have run the ball more.
Yeah. No, Dowdell still had that play where he should have gone right and he went left right into the safety. It's like
I was like, God, please avoid contact in any way, whether it's a juke, whether it's a stiff arm, whether it's anything. Then he hurdled the guy, and I felt like, okay, a little bit of forgiveness there. But
yeah.
And Emmett Johnson,
dude, was he shiftier today than you?
He had the freaking juke button going.
Right, he was pressing. He was on the sticks today.
He's still the freaking. He should be the primary running back, not Dowdell.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
There's no. It's ridiculous. And listen, I'm not saying that he's an all-conference player or anything, but like, he's not getting used correctly.
Yeah, corny. Dante, great vision, Dowdell. Matt writes, give me Nelson, Lloyd, Barney. I could go without Banks and Nair at this point. I could do without Fedoni as well. Youth movement time.
Man
says they are all mid. Yeah, they are.
Well, I agree on the running backs. I agree. I'm just saying that Emmett was better last year than he is this year.
It's like, if you go to a steakhouse that's mid, it's like, yeah, but I'll still take the ribeye.
I think Emmett's the best. I don't understand why they haven't kind of gotten invested in what he does well more. Yeah, when you talk, like, there was a caller into the radio show tonight, Josh, and they were like, why don't they start benching people? If I were doing that, the wide receivers is where I'd start, and the quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I thought youth movement with 4 games left. Mickey, are we sure all the coaches attend practice?
Yeah, I mean, Nair and Banks are never leaving the field. I mean,
yeah, I was fine with Banks today. Nair, very much okay with it at this point in time. Very much okay with it at this point in time.
Yeah. And it was weird. The biggest thing I noticed, the difference in the offense, a couple of things. He got rid of the ball more quickly. There were some things in the passing game I did like that there were slant patterns, Josh. There were a few of them that made me excited, right? Quick slant patterns.
Yeah, dude, that was different. That was
Raiola
different
getting rid of the ball quickly. I liked that.
Yeah.
It was interesting. They put Fedoni in for a while and basically had him exclusively pass block, which I thought was super interesting, or just not even go out run block or pass block. And then they put Lindenmeyer in and have him go out on patterns. That play to Lindenmeyer that he caught, that was a great play.
Yeah, it was. Nice catch.
I love
really
that.
Nice catch. It was out a little in front of him, and he made a play, juggled it a little bit, and then brought it in.
But that whole touchdown drive, that one that ended in, what was the touchdown? That whole drive, that was like every play call there was like what I was sort of hoping for and dreaming of. but it sort of was isolated to that drive, kind of, in terms of what not Satterfield, but Holgorsen was going to do. That one touchdown drive, sigh, and then I just sigh literally. Yeah. It was good. It looked good. It looked good a couple of times, but I mean, it's not just the play calling. I'll say it again, Josh. It is not just the play.
No, hey, and not to keep bringing up the same play over and over and over, but Jamal Banks is wide open, and there was somebody in my mentions during the game that was like, "Yeah, they should have ran the ball there," because I think it was 3rd and 2, and it's like the play was there and it worked. Like, you know, sorry if I've done this before on the pod. I know I brought it up with other people, but it's like when people got mad at Bill Callahan for the play that he ran against Texas in 2006. It's like the play worked. Terrence Nunn caught the football.
Oh my gosh. Look at D'Lo's picture that he just posted.
That's the one. That's the play right there. He's wide open.
He had given up on that side of the field, and he was looking for a check down.
Yeah, look, you can see his head in the bottom left-hand corner. He's not even looking anywhere near that. And right away, Jack, that play ended, and Brock Heward was like, oh, my gosh, he had a guy wide open. Sure enough.
The play design was great.
Open. Yeah.
The play design was freaking great.
Yeah.
It's happened before this year. But Josh,
Adam says plays were getting called faster. We weren't hiking with mere seconds left. That was an improvement. There you go. There's another positive.
Yeah, I guess. They were going under center more. That was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that there were things that were noticeable in terms of like elements of the offense. You mentioned the slants a few minutes ago. I thought that stuff was different. I thought that some of the horizontal stuff worked. Not the whole game, and obviously at the end of the game it didn't work at all. But it worked at times. So like
Banks the Emmett Johnson touchdown.
That was sweet. Dude, the last 2 plays of that drive, they get or maybe the last 3 or 4 plays, but they get the big 3rd down conversion on that was Bonner, right, on that drive? Janiron Bonner?
Yes, that was a great play.
Yeah, that was a great play. Great blocking. Where's that blocking been?
And then Bonner doesn't have another catch the rest of the game, but of course, you know.
No, I thought he did. Did he not? Was that the only one that he had?
Let's see. He might have.
I thought he had another one late in the game.
Bonner had 3 for 21. Okay. He had 3 for 21, but that was
how long was that play? How
11,
long was the
11?
Yeah, okay.
It was. I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, me too. I would not.
By the way, Banks had 5 for 55. Emmett had 7 for 36. Lloyd had 1 for 24. Bonner had 3 for 21. Nair had 3 for 18. Borcher had 1 for 9. Fedoni had 2 for 9. Barney had 2 for 9 for Ja'Cory Barney.
Yeah. Bummer. Such a bummer. That was the thing. Remember, we talked about him this morning, man. We talked about Barney this morning, and was there going to be a way where he could be involved in more unique, ways today? And it really was more of the same. D'Lo, does Tony White go to the bathroom during the drives after we score? That's the next project for Stumanji. We need the Nebraska takes the lead and what happens next on defense. Good. Because and Jack, not to do something that we talk about every week here, man, but Nebraska's offense, moving the ball, scoring drives, it's pulling teeth. It's very difficult. Every yard is like, wow, a celebration. They got a first down. The Bonner play that you just mentioned. What was the USC touchdown drive after Nebraska took the lead? 4 plays, 5 plays? It was chunk, touchdown.
Yep.
And it was just like, man,
the
game's over, After that, they take the lead and they never give it back.
Yet there were also moments during the game where it was like, oh, crap, this is the vintage 2024 Nebraska defense, right? Ty Robinson looking unblockable. Even Nash looking at the beginning of the game unblockable at some points. They're holding him every play. Right, and we're in Nebraska still getting plays. Obviously, Sierra Wright making plays all over the field.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah, we haven't even mentioned him yet. He was awesome today. He gets the pick 6, and he has the blocked field goal that essentially, really made the game interesting towards the end of it.
Yes, yeah,
sad.
Had a great game. Buford in really early in the game absolutely blew like they were hitting. Mm-hmm. That defense looked. It looked like vintage this year.
But then, Jack, when they weren't hitting, like the first touchdown that Zachariah Branch had of the year, like what in the hell happened on that play from Tommy Hill? Tommy Hill had back-to-back poor plays with, first of all,
pick.
He misses the pick. They missed 2 picks in this. Well, no. How many interceptions did they miss? You could go with the first drive, 3 picks, all right? The first drive, the one that you just mentioned with Tommy Hill, and then there's the other one that was in the end zone because he jumped too early. And it's like, what? What's happening? That's multiple takeaways. So they get the interception, right? They get one interception in this game, and then they have the fumble, and then they also have the blocked field goal. So essentially they had 3 turnovers, 3 takeaways, and they still lost by 8.
Right. Did they ever get a touchdown in the red zone today?
No. The touchdown that they scored, they were outside the red zone. Yeah.
Still can't. Same problems are still there.
Yeah.
No matter who's calling the plays. Man.
Yeah.
And they look like they couldn't figure it out.
Brutal. Adam writes, all of our experienced players are overrated AF. He added that Hill is another senior that can bounce. Yeah, D'Lo says we needed Thompson to score on that fumble.
Second, let me defend
the same thing.
Ty Robinson, MJ Sherman, Jamari Butler, if you're considering him. There are a few. I thought Gifford had a good game today too. Really solid tackling. So I'm not out. I know it's sort of tempting to go to the everybody who's played for a long time sucks. I'm not doing that. I'm not I will never do that.
Losers,
Ty Robinson is a freaking monster, Josh. We saw it again today. So don't try and group everybody in that. So he was great. Yeah. I don't know what his numbers
Adam, how about Hartzog? Yeah, he was a tough hang.
Right. But he had a couple of good hits, good plays too during the game. He had one really good breakup. He had one really good hit. So
JP, how about winning then?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks. Really.
Caleb.
That makes me JP.
Uh-oh. We're getting close to Jack's being triggered by the commenters territory.
I hadn't thought of that.
What's going to happen now?
I hadn't thought of that. Sorry.
Still got a half hour.
Right.
Still got a half hour to go. Caleb Henry, your co-host on the Nebraska Ball Brunch Show and after Nebraska Ball, coming to the I-80 Club tomorrow, writes, got inside the 15 3 times. 6 total points. That is impossible.
Brutal.
Jack,
it lost him the game.
It lost him the game.
The red zone. And freaking, it's so funny. Sierra Wright got that pick, and I'm like, as I always do when Nebraska gets a turnover, the first thing I say is score. And he did.
Yeah.
And then I did it again when, was it Bradford or whoever, or what? Bayer picked up the fumble, right? Same exact thing. Picked up that fumble, and I'm like, score. And they didn't. And it always kills them if they don't score.
Yep.
It always kills them if they don't score.
That was a great bounce, too. It's just that he slipped. He fell on the ball instead of being able to run. I think he slipped and was not able to pick the ball up and run into the end zone. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. By the way, Oregon's going for it right now on 4th and 9.
Gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Holy crap.
I'm a second ahead of you. Wow. How in the hell did he complete that?
Wow. As the fourth quarter begins.
That's the throws I expected, Josh.
Yeah, I know.
Where's that?
What a throw. Wow. That is a hell of a throw.
Where's my happiness?
Yeah, why can't Nebraska be more like Oregon this year? Have they tried that? Look at
that freaking horizontal pass. That looks amazing.
Wow. Man, you are ahead of me. This is frustrating.
I know.
I don't like this.
I'll pause it for a second and then come back.
Just literally a half second and you're going to be totally fine. You're going to be totally fine. Man.
Okay.
Hey, I know that, and you did this earlier, so I guess we each have one mulligan, if you will, of reading a YouTube comment, because usually we just try to read comments from the Discord. But I want to read this question from Bill, and not to get so big picture again. But he writes, serious question, are we finally reaching the point where Husker fans are damn near done with the program? It's getting harder and harder to believe that it will ever change. I know that I saw that a few times in my mentions tonight, Jack. It seemed like it might have been a discussion as well in the Discord server. I wonder what you think of that idea of the fan base coming back for more, saying, please, we would love more slop, and the program saying, perfect, here's the slop for you. Does a day like today, another now, that's what I call groin kick volume 84, does a game like today...
That might be the podcast title. Now that's what I call groin kick volume 84.
Instead of groin kick jukebox, man,
that's tough. We may need to put it in the poll.
Poll question, groin
now
kick
jukebox. Now that's what I call
Now that's what I call groin kick volume 84 as Oregon scores. But
jump around sucks ass.
Nice. Jordan says I'll wait out this year, but I don't think I'll be back next year. Here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to get selfish for a second. We need this program to stop shitting the bed because Jack, every time someone unsubscribes from the Patreon, it gives us this little, they do an exit survey, and I'm going to read you some of the exit surveys that we have gotten this season. One of them on October 4th just said, my wife, which made me laugh really hard.
My wife!
Let me read some other ones. Not your fault. Huskers just suck too much for me to pay this much attention. Here's another one. You guys are great. Just doing this for my own good. I may be back and will always wish you the best. That was after the Illinois loss. That was the first loss of the year when that one was there. Yeah. Ugh. So we need them to be good. We need them to stop being bad.
That's hilarious. Wow. Nobody.
But do you ever think about just giving up? Do you ever just think about, saying, see you later, I'm done with this shit?
It'll never happen with most people. Here's why. I'll be back Saturday, and you know this. You completely know this. I'll be back Saturday morning. I'll be jacked up to beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Despite where I am right now. And then the other thing is, even if during a season, right, you can't muster the enthusiasm, enough happens during an off season, right, with coaching hires or whatever, that you get a big group of people who I think most of them will find something. I mean, I think we tend to find things that make us optimistic about the next year, or could make us optimistic about the next year.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, are there a few people who will fall off? Yeah, they have, but time passes, right? And you kind of forget. And it happens with me every week. Like, Josh, we all know how I'll be on Friday and Saturday. Saturday next week. Saturday morning.
You'll be saying Wisconsin sucks ass.
Up. I'll say Wisconsin sucks ass. I'll be jacked. I'll have that bowl over there. I'll write on the bowl. I'll be psyched. I'll be ready to go.
You might be doing a watch party for the Creighton game if we can get to 500 subscribers. There are a lot of you who are watching right now who aren't subscribing to the I-80 Club. Please subscribe right now, and we're going to do a watch party for the Creighton game. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, if we get to 500, it'll be great. But
yeah,
like, I don't know if everyone's like me, but there are definitely some people who are like me. You're just like, the hope fuels you. And this has been a big enough part of your life for so long, you can't really just cast it aside. I can't, you know.
I can't either. It's pretty easy to
I mean, like, even if it wasn't my career, you know.
Yeah, D'Lo says, are you finding it harder to fill a 4-hour show every day? No, not like, I don't even want to say like it's actually easier, because it's not. It's like more depressing. I've been saying for years, Jack, like, I just want a good football season. I really, 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 it would be so good.
We still don't know what this would be like.
I know everyone is always like, oh man, the media loves this shit. No, we don't. This sucks. Every year is the same. Every year is the same now. Look, I will admit that I bet that there were some media in 2007 that were like, wow, this is great for business, because they're so bad and they're going to fire Callahan and everyone's excited for a coaching search. This isn't fun though. This shit is not fun, where they keep losing in the same way year after year, game after game. The new story, the 2007 of its day, would be if they were actually good. Would be if they went 10-2. Would be if they went 8-4. Would be if they went 7-5. Would be if they won one of these stupid games. That would be the different thing that would happen. And instead, it's the same game every week. It's the same movie.
What do you even say? I texted you. I texted you after the game, and I was like, I don't know what to say, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a CBS procedural at this point, right? Where it's like, all right, so you got to have a bad guy in the first act, and then they'll figure it out at the end. Like, that's what it is. It's the same story every single time we watch. Every single time we watch.
It's unbelievable. And it could have, the crazy thing is, it could happen 2 more times this year and create, like, legit one of the most shocking in sport, one of the most shocking sports eras in sports history. It really is. Like, it really is. This 10, 11, whatever the groin kick era is, there's not much like it in sports history, I don't think.
Yeah.
There really isn't. And it sucks that we're all going through it. I don't know how to break it. It feels, and Josh, like, the feeling, we all had it in this game at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We all knew how this game was ending.
I had no idea.
You had no idea?
I had no, what is the word I'm looking for? There was no thought in my mind that they were going to win the game. None. Absolutely zero.
And
even the last drive was like,
not only did I know that, I knew how it was going to happen.
They were going to get the 2, or even if they got the 2, they were going to lose in overtime. Jack, no matter what happened on that final drive, like I posted.
Yeah, I did. That's one of the things that I never got that excited on that final drive because
you knew it still wasn't going to end very well. I posted a poll question during, like, it was a 5-minute poll question, which is the least amount of time that you can do for a poll. I got 500 votes, Jack, in 5 minutes. So I said, what happens? Nebraska touchdown plus 2-point conversion. Nebraska touchdown plus misses a 2-point conversion. Drive ends on down. Drive ends with a turnover. And wouldn't you know it, the vote that got the most was the drive ends with a turnover. How did the game end? With a turnover, with an interception in the end zone. And 44.4% of the voters voted on that. Hell, 43.5% said that it would end on downs. Only 4% actually thought Nebraska would score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion, which... If you're that kind of person that believes in that, like, shout out to you, I guess. I just didn't see any way in hell that was happening. No way in hell.
The doom in those situations is real.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't feel possible. It doesn't feel even remotely possible they're going to win those games, especially when the offense has the ball last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bad times, man. It's really bad times. It's really bad
times, and I don't know how you change them. I guess if there is some great hire, that changes it, but I don't know.
D'Lo, side question. Can anyone remember the last time we saw an actual on-field measurement? Like they bring out the chain. They do not do that anymore. Refs do not
the spots were so bad.
Yeah, they were.
Despite me getting ratioed, I was right on that, and I was right on others.
No, you
were.
A
lot of bad spots.
Hey, we should talk about in-game management. What is going on with Rhule with some of these timeouts and some of these decisions? It's bad, man.
Yeah, I referenced this at the beginning of the show, but we haven't talked about it much since.
Yeah.
So they said they were going to fake the punt.
Yep.
But
they didn't get the look that they wanted.
They didn't get the look they want, which, by the way, I watched their other punts, and they had, like, safe, right? Punt safe defense in. I know in the previous punt, too, because I wondered if they were going to fake that one. And so they didn't get the look they want, so they use a timeout at that point. Because I did see Jalen Lloyd was in. I don't know if he's in on everyone, but he was in on that one. So you call the timeout, and I assumed that was what was happening on that play. And then they bring the offense out, and I assume they're going to go for it. And
that's what I thought. So when he first called the timeout, I was like, okay, I understand being mad at this, but they're going to go for it. And so, no problem with me. Call a timeout and go for it. And then they just don't. They just punt.
And then everyone was like, they were trying. I mean, I remember, like,
they're trying to draw them off sides.
They're trying to draw off. I was like, no, they weren't. They didn't try.
No, I think he did like one tiny little hard count, and then they moved on.
It was pretty clear they were trying to see if they saw something, and they didn't. So they didn't get the look they wanted for the punt. They didn't get the look they were looking for the fourth down.
Unreal.
For it. Like, they can't get any look they want.
Jack,
for
why
anything.
couldn't the coaches just yell, never mind on the fake, just punt the football on the first one? Why couldn't they just yell that?
That's a great call. Can they talk? Yeah, the punter needs the...
Just punt it. And the punter's like, what? Should I do that? Yes, just punt it. How about this too, Jack? So the last drive of the game, they're moving down the field. They get the first down. I think they get a one first down, and then they have the play where they throw it over the middle, and I believe it's Jamal Banks who catches it, but he's a little short. So it's 2nd and 2. And in that moment, they have 2 timeouts. Yes. And it's like that. They should have called a timeout there. They let way too much time go off the clock because then I think they had an incomplete pass, and then they did the rush for the first down. It's like then after that, they were actually moving the ball. But because they did not call a timeout there, they ended up not having anywhere near as many plays as they should have had at the end of the game. They did not have as many plays.
They were at 11 seconds with 2 timeouts.
Yeah. What good does 2 timeouts do in 11 seconds? What are we talking about?
It was unbelievable. The timeout management on its own is so bad. Yeah. It's so bad. And that is in addition to, like I said at the beginning of the show, every game sort of having this existential moment where it's like a huge strategy decision. Do I kick a field goal? Do I kick a punt? Do I go for it? And then always like thinking it to death and making the wrong pick every time. It's unbelievable.
I think I said this, Jack. I think
Maryland, Wisconsin last year. I mean, we were through this.
I can't wait for him to have some comment where he kind of references like what the media said too, because like that's become very on brand for him. He's very much listening to
that.
It's getting really annoying, honestly. But like I think we talked about this last week. Maybe it was 2 games ago or 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was the game before that. But every coach, as good as they are at one thing, they're not perfect. There's no perfect coach out there. Bill Belichick in his prime is the closest thing we have, in my opinion, to a perfect coach. Like Andy Reid, great offensive mind, was horrible at game management or clock management for years. Sean McVay, people love Sean McVay. Great offense, awesome play caller. The guy sucks at clock management. Man, Matt Rhule, as Jordan asked, what is Rhule good at? So what I thought Rhule was good at, program building, development of players, like that's what we were sold on, right? Yeah. Recruiting. It's like Matt Rhule is going to identify players. He's going to build them up into draft picks, and they're going to be in the NFL, because he did that at both of his other stops, right? But his in-game management leaves some to be desired. It's like, all right, that's fine if the players are really, really good. It's like okay in the end, because it's like, you'll win more than you lose. And, every now and then you're going to have a game that comes down to the wire, and you just hope that he makes the right decisions. But man, Jack, when every game comes down to game management, when every football game has a moment where he needs to make a decision one way or the other, he usually makes the wrong one. And that's the problem. You can't be a bad in-game manager if every game is a one-score game. You just can't. And that's what he's playing right now.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like he really sort of manifests the CEO mold in the way that he... Like sometimes when he talks on his press conferences, Josh, he really distances himself from play calling or in-game decision, or like, kind of the real gritty coaching stuff, right? It feels like he distanced, and then during the game, you're like, yeah, it kind of seems like you don't do that much, right? It kind of seems like when you get into that moment, if it's you, like, I honestly, Josh, like, oh my gosh. And I don't want this to sound, but like, what is he responsible for, and what are the assistants responsible for
on a game day?
Mm-hmm.
I would guess, just watching the games and then listening to him in the post game, my guess is the thing that he is responsible for are like decisions, like the big picture, 4th down, go, don't go, punt, don't punt, field goal, like, and then I'm guessing
most of those have been bad. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
and so then I would also guess too, Jack, and this is just a guess. If they decide to go for it, I wonder if he decides run or pass. Like, I would wonder if he would have like a say in that, or if he just leaves it totally up to, now Dana Holgorsen.
I'm trying to remember, in the press conference tonight, he said something that he said he decided something that surprised me, and I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that, Josh. Like, yeah. I can't remember what it was now. I need to go back and listen, but like, that's a weird thing about it. Like, after all this, it doesn't feel like he's super involved in, I could be wrong about this, and maybe I am. Doesn't feel like he's super involved in the football stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a lot of head coaches are like that. Like, I don't think that's like, it's not unique. Like, there are a lot of CEO coaches. There are a lot of CEO. I feel like
coaches. It's more true of him than anybody's Nebraska's had for a while.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Frost was calling plays. Riley wasn't. Well, and that'll make people really happy, I'm sure. But Riley was more of a CEO head coach. Bo was calling plays. Callahan was calling plays. Solich was calling plays until his last year. Obviously, Tom Osborne called plays. Bob Devaney was the CEO coach. So, like, and now we're back to 1962. So I can't speak about what's his name before him. But that's, yeah. But you look around the country and you're going to find a hodgepodge of CEO versus, calling the offense or calling the defense all over the country. And it's like that in the NFL too, right? Like, some coaches are going to call plays and some are not. Some are going to manage everything else. Jack, let me ask you this. You seem out on Rhule. Are you out on Rhule?
I'm more frustrated I think the fact that we keep seeing the same movie over and over and over again, and he doesn't seem to be able to change it.
Yeah.
Like, and I will still give them 2 more games, right? To see if they can change that. But like at some point, Josh, at some point, what do we say? 10 games? 10 games.
If they lose out, it would be 10 games with a chance to go to
10 games.
6.
And look, I can almost guarantee at least one of the next 2 games is going to be a 1-possession game.
They're both going down to the wire, man. I really believe it. I really believe it.
Like, honestly, if they can't do it, and like it feels like this whole situation is so polluted, it's not gonna get better, right? At least, I don't know.
Jack, you know what's going to be wild? You know what's going to be wild? And we've talked about this behind the paywall here inside the I-80 Club, but, and now, given that Dannon spoke recently about facility stuff, like, I think everybody can kind of expect it to happen, but, like, I think that we're very close to an announcement being made on what's going to happen with the stadium. And I don't think that it's going to be cheap. I don't think that we're just talking about like, oh, yeah, and they're going to fix Wi-Fi for $15 million. Like, I think they're about to make a big-time announcement for what they're going to do with the stadium. And it's one thing to announce it, to make an announcement after year 1 when, even if things didn't go very well in the end, like people are still really excited. They get the 5-star quarterback. It's another to do it right now as, again, things are ending in a just horrific way. I-Formation says brutal timing on the stadium announcement. And it's just, it's going to be really interesting to see when that happens, how that lands, because you know how it is. A lot of people are like, hey, spend the money on just the players. I don't care about my comfort in a stadium, which I think is silly. But there's also going to be a whoa. Why are we spending this money when the team sucks? Why are we spending the money when the team can't make a bowl game again? And so I think that it's coming before the end of the calendar year 2024. Very interested to see what that reaction will be like. Very interested.
And again, still getting I will stand by what I said, Josh. 6 wins is still out there and necessary. And 5, the world with 5 wins and the world with 6 wins is very different at this point. If they still, I'm not ruling out that they can get one. Maybe some of you are. We'll see. But that's if it's 5, that changes everything. If they end at 5, that changes everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
they were 5-1, Jack. They were 5-1.
I know there's a bunch of people dancing in the comments like, oh, Jack's finally on my side or whatever. But on the other hand, you guys are all excited about the next coach. I'm not.
I don't think anyone's excited.
You guys are all excited about the process of a change of you think they're gonna find the right guy and that's gonna make it right.
No.
Yeah, they are. They are, Josh. Of course they are. They love firing and replacing. It's always no. Firing and replacing is the key to the promised land for a whole bunch of people. That's
nobody feels that way.
That 100% they do.
Nobody feels that way.
Totally disagree.
No, it's people. Yes, Jumanji. I don't think anyone's excited about anything right now. Jack,
they're definitely excited about firing and replacing.
No, they are not. They are excited maybe about the possibility that the next guy could be better, but no one is excited about firing somebody and replacing them because it's going to be an automatic fix. Like, what about Nebraska football in the last 2 decades says that they're going to fire the guy and then get the next guy right? No one believes it.
People believe that 100%.
No, they don't. No one in here is saying, who is saying that right now? Who is saying, like, let's fire him because the next guy is going to be the guy? No one is saying that. No one believes that.
I think that's implicit in what they're saying.
No, it is not, man. It is more about wanting to move on from the person that they don't think is the right guy. It's not, and then they'll get the next guy right. Like, Josh, I don't think anyone believes they'll get the next guy right.
Like, there's legit part of me, if that's true, if that's what they really think, that's just like, fine, then just stay here until he figures it out. Just stay with the status quo.
But that's where you are different from everybody else, because everybody else says, if we know that this guy isn't the guy, let's try it again with somebody else, no matter what that means. And you're like, I'd rather just I'd rather just live in this world forever. And then,
well, if we're all on the same page, that we're probably screwed no matter what we do. Just keep him, save the money, right?
See, but I don't care about that. Like, why would I care about saving the program
save
money
the
when
money,
they're getting
give him
$80 million a year
give
from
him a
TV?
chance to work it out, whatever.
Who gives a shit
know.
about that?
Oh, okay, I'm glad everybody thinks that you fire him, but it's not going to work either. Okay.
No, it's not. See, again, you are one end or the other. There is the middle ground of fire the guy and hope that the next person will be better. That's what everybody is hoping for.
I don't want to freaking go through another cycle of this. I don't.
I know. Hey, no one is saying who wants to go through this cycle?
Oh, there are some who definitely do.
No, not in here.
My gosh.
Nobody's saying that.
Kidding me right now?
Who is saying it? Who is pumped to do this? Who's having a good time?
People in the chat.
No one in the.
Are you reading the chat?
Are you reading the comments? Everyone is miserable right now. No one is even happy.
Whatever.
Stop inventing these people. They're
all right. I'll remember
there.
this. I will remember this. I'm filing this.
For what? What are you filing it away for?
Later. To tell you you were wrong. To tell you the way you're behaving is inconsistent with this conversation that we're having right now.
You were the one who said that you were worried about the future of things under Matt Rhule. You're getting mad at yourself, I think. Are you getting mad at yourself? Are you self-hating at this moment in time? We had a great conversation, and now you're just arguing with nobody, and now I'm confused.
Who knows?
Jordan says Jack has a different Discord chat he's looking at. That's what's going on.
There are 100% people who firing is a drug to them, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
So.
Bayman, I'm saying it. I love sucking and firing and sucking and firing. It's great. There you go.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. That's obviously not what I'm saying either.
Adam says Jack wants Solich back. Stib says Jack is right. There you go. You got.
Well, nobody's listening to what I'm saying, so it doesn't matter. So no one is listening to me right now except Stib. So I appreciate that.
You have Theo on your side too. So you got Stibs and Theo. Give those guys a podcast.
Oh, Alex is with me too.
There you go. See, you got many people.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk to those guys in the chat, if you think I'm so stupid, they'll explain it to you.
By the way, nobody.
I'm done because I'm freaking done.
Check. Am I missing something? Nobody in here has even
formation
said
is on my side too.
Nobody.
Look at all of a sudden my team coming out after 5 minutes of me getting blasted. And Jack, Mark, look at this. The Jack Army is assembling. Suck it, Josh. Suck it, commenters who disagreed.
Jack, I never even said I wanted him fired. Nobody even said that tonight.
I'm just saying they understand the point that I'm making that you.
What is the point?
Understand.
What's the point?
Good Lord, we just went through all this. I'm gonna tell him. Whatever. I'm not doing this.
Wait, who are you mad at? Are you mad at me now? What's going on here? Yeah, anyone. I'm totally lost.
I mean, for a while it was just like everybody was. I made a point. What I said about that there is a desire, and there is some kind of like pound of flesh thing about firing people that folks get obsessed with. Okay, that's what I was saying. I got tons of pushback on that, and then a bunch of people agreed with me after the fact. So Corny says, "Shut up, Jack. Talk to my defenders. Don't talk to me. I'm not going to bother talking to you."
Well, you have to. We're still doing a podcast.
Talk to Alex. Talk to Stibbs. Talk to Mark. You talk to them.
Stibbs, I need you to speak for Jack because Jack's not going to speak for himself right now, apparently.
Adam says nobody's saying it. Actually, they are, Adam. Actually, they are. And they're
I don't think anyone actually has said to fire him.
Yep,
tonight.
Look at Stibbs agrees.
I haven't seen that at all. Interesting.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Jack Army, please correct people in the chat. I don't want to do it myself.
D'Lo says, I don't want to fire anyone except like 7 assistants. There you go. Nobody wants him fired, just 7 assistants.
You think Holgorsen's going to stay around?
Yeah.
What has to happen for that to happen?
I don't know. They probably just offer him a contract and he says, sounds good to me.
Does he not have really any better offers than that?
No, I mean, as long as Dylan Raiola is back in Nebraska in 2025, there's no way that he's going to be gone. Like, I'd be stunned by that.
The whole reason he comes here is Raiola, but at some point you're like, in 3 games, I mean, this is weird, but like Raiola needs to like pass his audition at some point.
Yes, he does. But yeah, I'd be stunned if he was.
Well, Holgorsen comes here. Don't get it twisted. Holgorsen comes here because of Raiola.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll both be back next year. I'd be stunned if they weren't. Absolutely stunned if they weren't. Yeah. Well, I think it's just gonna figure out. They got to figure out the.
That's a good. I mean, I think we all agree that's a good hire. So maybe things are looking up at this point. Even if he can't, like, it is ridiculous to think he is going to be able to come in this year and make a huge difference at this point. I think, like, is that fair to say, despite how...
we talked about it this morning. No one expected the offense to be that much better.
Right. Exactly. But, like, if they can keep him, that will be... It's just going to be interesting to see how everyone reacts to that. If they do get Holgorsen, and how is that the offseason sort of boost that makes people optimistic about next year? I don't know, but that'll be, because I think there's a chance nothing really looks all that different with the offense this year for the next 2 games.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. No. Adam says, why is everyone saying Raiola isn't good enough to play for Dana? I think, Adam, that there is a concern that Raiola, like, there was a comment earlier from somebody, and it might have been D'Lo, and it was basically just like, he's probably not the guy that we thought he was. Him being Dylan Raiola. And, you know, I'm still willing to give it time because I do think that he's hurt. And he is certainly struggling mentally right now, too, with things.
Hey, Bill Dixon, it's not a straw man. There are actual people. Go down 3 comments. Larry agrees with me, so it's not a straw man.
Who are you arguing with now?
Bill, I'm arguing with Bill Dixon on the YouTube chat.
Why?
Bill
we were having a conversation
about Dixon.
About Holgorsen.
I just saw it and it pissed me off. Sorry. Back to that.
We should probably just say goodbye, Jack, I think. Probably for the best.
I can't do this, man.
Yeah, I know.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Listen,
Josh, I held it together for a freaking hour tonight. This is a 90-minute show. I can't do 90 minutes. I did 60 minutes. It was fine.
You didn't know. Jack, you held it together for like 80 minutes.
The last 10 minutes, 80 minutes. Okay, so
I don't know what happened. I'm still confused. We were having a very good conversation, and we were like, oh, man, it just maybe Matt Rhule's not going to be the guy. And then you started arguing, and I didn't even know who you were arguing with anymore.
You know
D'Lo, Jack, Josh? I'm paying for 90 minutes. Caleb, After Dark is my joy cocaine. That's the second cocaine reference between you and Caleb in the last 32 hours.
I think after the Wisconsin game, we should schedule it for 80 minutes.
Just 80 minutes?
Just 80, exactly.
Many people are confused. I'm also confused.
I'm confused. I don't know what I'm mad at. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm tired.
Hey, I'm just happy you admitted that.
I don't want to go through I don't want to go through this pattern again. We're probably going to. Whatever. I'm tired.
It's like the stages of grief. You just started arguing with nobody, and it was very confusing. Yeah.
Fine. Although, weirdly, I got a million people to agree with me. But
I'm happy. Hey, Jack, isn't it really cool to have people that agree with you? It's pretty nice. It's a fun feeling. You should try it more often. It's really great.
I appreciate them. Especially Larry Radke, who agrees with me on the YouTube
There you go.
chat.
Hey, that's too many YouTube chat comments that you read tonight, Jack. Too many YouTube comments.
Larry, deleted. I'll DM you. Thanks for the like.
Hey, speaking of YouTube, we are now up to 454 subscribers on the I-80 Club YouTube channel. If we can get to 454.
We need 50 we need
46
by Friday.
We need 46 by Friday because if we get to 500 subscribers, if you like the emotion that you have seen from my partner in the I-80 Club tonight, Jack Mitchell, there's this game that Nebraska men's basketball is playing on Friday night versus the Creighton Blue Jays. Yeah, it is. I don't know, one of the most important games that is involved in Jack's life every single
This is not healthy for my heart to do this every freaking. I mean, we got a game tomorrow. That doesn't even mention the game tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. I was going to get to that too, but I was going to tell people first and foremost, subscribe to the I-80 Club on YouTube. Help us get to 500. These post-game videos now are getting close to 2,000 views like every single week that we do one of these. I know that most of you watching it are not subscribers because, again, we only have 454. So help us get to 500 so we can do a watch party for the Creighton, Nebraska game. It will be unlike anything you have ever seen before, and that will happen on Friday. Before that, we will have another After Nebraska Ball post-game show. Jacob Bigelow. Jack, what Dakota is this game in? North or South? I forget.
It's in South Dakota, Sioux Falls.
It's in Sioux Falls.
The site Bigelow. Of my second date with my wife when we went to TGI Fridays and then watched Simon Birch at the Empire Mall.
Classic Jack Mitchell, groin kick of a movie. Simon Birch, spoiler alert, he dies in the end. Doesn't he die in a bus?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was horrendous. Yeah. Very sad. Yeah. But we got married. We got 2 kids. She's coming home later tonight.
Shout out to Jack and Jack's wife for being married and having sex at least
He's at the
2 times.
volleyball game.
Oh, nice.
At least twice.
At least twice. Hopefully she's having a good time. So tomorrow after Nebraska ball, Bigelow will be up in South Dakota. Jack and Caleb Henry will be down here in Nebraska, and they'll be going on.
Give me a win. Let someone experience a win with me, except for that Colorado halftime. Will that be the peak? Josh, will the Colorado halftime be the peak of our Husker fan lives for the rest of eternity?
Yeah, hey, if you ever want a really fun 20-minute podcast, just scroll through the I-80 Club YouTube channel and go watch the halftime show that we did for the Colorado
game. I'm going to watch that tonight after this.
There you go. That's a hell of a drug, Jack. It's a hell of a drug. You know what? We should have done a halftime show today. It maybe would have been good vibes for Nebraska, and it maybe would have helped them win the game. So, after Nebraska ball coming up tomorrow, 2:15, 2:30-ish. And they usually go for 30, 45. Who knows how long they'll go tomorrow, especially if Nebraska wins and Jack's in a good mood.
I'm ready.
Because tomorrow he's going to be in a good mood because he's just going to lead comments from Larry over and over and over.
Larry's my boy. Rankin!
Jack's new best friend.
Hello.
Nope, that's
my gang
reversed.
sign for Larry.
That's reversed. So, there you go. That's what's going on. Next week, also in the I-80 Club, there will be a Nebraska ball brunch show coming up on Friday. We'll do another post-game show next Saturday night, 9:30. I figured overreaction that day. We'll do a Saturday morning coffee show for the board members. We have a boardroom on Monday. Look at all these pods. Jeez. Look at all of the things that we do.
Listen,
Jack.
all the people who just getting to hear angry me now at this point.
Yeah,
you should have been here in the morning, right?
Jack was really happy.
It was a different person.
Yeah,
definitely was not arguing with the chat.
Yeah,
we were.
Look at that, Jack. There could have been tears. There could have been tears in the bowl, in his piss bowl, as he would have. Look at that. Look at that bowl. What did it say on there, Jack? Did you erase what it said?
Right, hold on.
Well, he's gonna write it again. This is a very, very sad bowl. Very, very sad bowl. Oh man, there you go. Soon, God, please, God, allow for it to happen. All right. I think I named everything, Jack. I think I named everything that we got coming up in the next week or so.
What did you decide for the title of this podcast? We had 2 contenders for title of this podcast.
Yeah, what do we want to do? Groin Kick Jukebox, or now that's what I call Groin Kick Volume 84.
I'm a fan of number 1 was good early. I'm gonna go number 2 though. That's my vote.
All right. Now that's what I call Groin Kick Volume 84 it is. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Sorry if Jack yelled at you in the last 10 minutes for whatever reason. I don't know why. I felt like I was getting yelled at, and I didn't even say to fire Matt Rhule. So it was a very interesting end of the show. Jack, do you have anything to say to our subscribers?
No, sorry I went off the rails, but I usually do at some point. It's been a while, so I was due.
Was it a YouTube comment or a I-80 Club comment in the Patreon that or in the Discord that pushed you over the edge? What happened?
I don't even think it was. I think it was just in my head. It was, me. I build straw men.
Thank you. You finally admitted it. Oh my gosh, he admitted. That's what Jack just did.
Oh my God, he admitted.
Oh my God, he admitted. All right. After Nebraska ball coming up tomorrow afternoon with Caleb, with Jack, with Bigelow. We very much are looking forward to it. Subscribe, like, and subscribe as you say goodbye. Jack. Talk to you later.
All right. See you later.
Thanks for joining us on I-80 Club After Dark.
Bye-bye.